If you're in the market for an amp modeler, something below 500 bucks, you need some great features, you need great sound, but you don't want to feel like you're doing too much of a compromise in terms of feature and price, this might be the device you're looking for. So it's the Sonicake Matribox II Pro. It's their flagship model. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think you should consider this model if you're on a tight budget. And if you're a gigging musician or a studio musician, I'm going to tell you what I think are some of the highlights from this device that you might want to consider for your own gigs. So reason number 1 is the build quality of this unit. You probably can't tell just by looking at it, but this is solid metal throughout. So it's not like really nice metal on the top side, but cheap plastic on the bottom. It's metal throughout. Another cool feature of this is a touch screen, which you usually don't find in pedals in this price range. And I actually have another modeling amp from another company, which is about twice, maybe even like 2.5 times the price of this. And they don't have a touchscreen, and they don't even have that big of a screen to begin with. So color screen, you have touch capabilities, really nice knobs and foot switches on here. I wouldn't say soft, but they're not clunky at all. And we probably can't tell right now, but these are staggered. So the first row, which would be your presets, is a little lower than these guys here, which are staggered higher. So if you need to go with the different modes and your presets, you're not going to be like clunky and hit all the different switches all at once. You also have very nice rotary knob. It's not creaky, it doesn't feel stiff. An expression pedal or volume pedal, which feels great. You also have some great features here on the other side. You have 2 XLR out, a ground lift, you have an effects send return, headphone out, and you also have the USB connection to connect to your computer, and you can use the free software to do all your editing in the computer if you'd rather do it this way than manually on the device. So for this price range, the features, sturdy as hell, and great looking interface too for the touchscreen. I mean, come on, hard to beat at this price point. Reason number 2 is actually the flexibility of the signal routing in the box, meaning that if you put in some pedals, EQ, your cab and head, and you want to put the reverb at the very front, or you want to put the modulation between the amp and the cab, or if you'd rather have the distortion at the complete end of the signal, you can route this however you want. Obviously, this is going to help you really figure out the kind of signal flow you want. There's also the XLR out, which I talked about in the previous example, but that's killer, especially at this price point, because this means that you don't have to rely on regular guitar cables to go to the front of house. You don't have to do any Mickey Mouse things with like having multiple DIs. You have a great clean XLR out that goes straight to front of house. The fact that this device is also an audio interface means that you don't have to go and buy something super expensive. You can go in the box, meaning with this unit straight to your computer, use your DAW that will recognize this unit as an audio interface, and you can record directly to whatever DAW that you're using. There's also a looper and a drum machine that I'm not using, but some people might want to use that for practice, or maybe the looper in a live setting if you need something to loop in the back while you're improvising. I personally don't use it, but if you need it, it's there. Now, if you don't like the stock IRs with the Matribox, you could also use third parties. So if you built your own, or if you bought a set from another reputable company, you could use those to replace whatever's built into the Matribox. So for number 3, let's talk about the sound quality. First off, we have to consider that this unit at this price point is, to my ear, sounds as good as units that are twice as expensive. They have a great roster of guitar amps for electric guitar. There's also bass and acoustic guitar that can be played with this particular unit, meaning that if you play more than one instrument, maybe you have acoustic gigs once in a while, or maybe for the demo you're doing, you need an actual bass modeler, you're getting it from this unit. On top of that, you have a lot of Vox amps. So if you're like me, you're a fan of Vox, there's an AC100, there's the AC30, AC30TB, and an AC15. So if you're a Vox head, they got you covered. And speaking of which, if you want, stick to the end of the video. I'm going to have some presets for you, have some of the Vox stuff in there, have a few bass amps, and yeah, some really cool stuff. So it's all free. Just stick until the end and you can get your hands on those presets. Number 4, we're going to be talking about the features for the price point. If you look at the competition, you're going to notice a lot of them will skim on features, but Sonicake did not skim whatsoever. So for $299, you're getting a touchscreen, a color touchscreen. Pretty big too. So if you got big fingers and you're trying to select the different options, it's not going to be a struggle. You're not going to be hitting 5 parameters at the same time. There's also the fact that with the new firmware update, you can now use N.A.M. So that's N.A.M, Neural Amp Modeler. If you're aware of this technology, it is modeling, but for free. So it's similar to the Camper or any other unit that does modeling. So if you go and get the presets that people share for N.A.M, you can install it on here. So you can bypass all the amp modeling and cabs and just use that block and have whatever amp you got from the N.A.M modeling, which is pretty cool for this price point. Now, beside N.A.M and the touchscreen, you also have 63 amplifiers, 93 effects, 61 cabs, and you also have 20 user IRs that you can import into the unit. So if you play gigs, you already know that having your main rig fail during a performance really sucks. Having a backup is smart, but sometimes getting an exact duplicate of whatever you're using as your main rig could be very costly. So having something like the Matribox would make sense because the cost is low, the effects sound great, the amp models are great, the routing is super simple, so you can probably mimic whatever's going on with your main rig with this unit. 2 XLR out to the front of house, and there you go. So if anything happens, you can pull this out, plug it in, and keep playing. So for $299, can you go wrong with this guy? I don't think so. Great built, great features. You have a tuner here. When you press here, super big on screen. You can see super well. The routing, if you don't use the software and you just need to go tactile with this thing, it works great. I love the fact that you have staggered switches here that are just a few, maybe like half an inch taller than these foot switches. The knobs feel great. They're not cheap. The options here are awesome. This foot switch here for volume works great. You have expression input if you need to use something else to control the effects. So all in all, for $299, you can't go wrong with this thing. And that's why I decided to make some presets. So they're custom presets that I built. You can go grab them. Just look in the comment section of this video or look in the video description. You're gonna have links there. You can just go grab them, just put your email in, and I'm gonna send you these presets for free. So yeah, let me know what you think of the Matribox. And in the meantime, click right over here for more videos just like this one. Cheers.